Thank you for joining us today, and we are very excited to introduce you to our featured author, Christi Christiaens. She is part of the book, Voices of the 21st Century, Women Who Influence, Inspire, and Make a Difference. This book really serves as an opportunity for women from around the world to come together to share their voice and their truth. It's truly a game changer, as you'll soon find out. It's a conversation starter, stirs the pot, challenges the status quo, and it's done simply by one woman sharing or stepping into her truth and to be vulnerable and to be transparent. And I know this can be tough, which is why, as more of us who rise up to share our voices, to educate, to inspire, and to guide, we must support one another by sharing and listening. So let's get to know Christi. Christi, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Gail. I'm so happy to be here.
And we're very happy to have you here. You share a very strong and bold story in Voices of the 21st Century. And I'd really love to know what motivated you to share this story.
I was very motivated to share my story, mainly because I want to reach people. I want to reach many people who go through the same challenges that I went through. So I want to inspire the people, and I want to assure them that they can do something about it.
Right. So why don't you give our listeners a little taste of what this story is, because it is a very strong subject matter that you take on.
Yes. So my story is about genetics, diabetes, being overweight, and sugar addiction. So I was a sugar addict myself, so I know what I'm talking about. And sugar is very addictive. It's as addictive as cocaine. Research has proven that. It has the same effect in the brain than cocaine. And for me, it was especially scary because my mother and my grandmother had diabetes. They were overweight. So as a child, I already saw the devastating effect of this disease on people that I loved. And that's why I'm so passionate to share about that it is possible to conquer this disease, to prevent this disease. I want to shout it out to the world.
Good on you. Now you take on, when you talk about sugar addiction, isn't it true that sugar is in just about everything as we walk down our grocery aisles?
That's right. You are right. About 90% of the products in the supermarket have sugar in them, because it's not only sugar, it's also, for example, all the products that are made from grains, from refined grains like cereals and bread. They all turn to sugar once they're consumed. So yes, you're right. It is a huge thing. And the consumption of sugar is pushed, it's promoted by our society.
And I would gather that, it's a big financial gain in the corporate sugar world, to keep our addictions going strong.
That's right. Absolutely.
Right. It's, well, good on you for taking this on. Now, as a reader reading your story, and it is big and it is strong, and you really, when we talk about challenging the status quo in this book, you do that. So what do you expect a reader to take away from your story?
Well, most of us have been led to believe that our genes doom us to the diseases that run in our families. Now, it's true that we might not be able to change the genes we were born with, but we can change how they affect us. Research and my own experience indicates that we can change the way genes affect us because they respond to diet, to our lifestyle, and to our environment.
So our diet is a big player in this.
A huge player.
A
Absolutely.
huge player. Kind of challenging though when you say, and that's a very big number, 90% of our aisles contain sugar.
That's right. It's huge. It's a huge deal.
So you know a lot on this subject. How long have you been studying?
I've been studying, it seems like forever, but it's like at least 30, 35 years. I have been passionately studying everything what has to do with sugar addiction, being overweight, diabetes, genetics. Yes, it's my passion really to give that out to the world, all the findings. And
Love that. And I love how it started with you as a child, seeing your mother and your grandmother. You saw the effects of sugar addiction. So, and as you've traveled through your life, how has this impacted your life? I mean, what are you doing with all this information now?
Well, first of all, like you say, as a child, I was shocked by everything what happened. Like my paternal grandmother had her leg amputated because of complications of her disease. And as a child, I was devastated. And I remember very well when my grandmother died, I vividly remember that I thought deep in myself, I'm going to do everything it takes not to go with that genetic destiny, with that diabetes destiny. So I had to do a lot of work for it because I was addicted to sugar myself. And then once I started to get solutions, there was only one thing I wanted to do, and that was help other people, to guide them and to educate them on all the consequences of an overdoses of sugar consumption.
And so have you built a business around this?
Yes,
Okay.
Yes, I have a coaching business, so I'm a health and a nutrition coach. And that's what I love to do the most, guiding people through this process of changing their diet, changing their lifestyle. And it's a big deal for people because of the conditioning and the habits that they mostly took on when they were children.
I love you for what you do. I mean, you are like that light, that solution in a world in which we are getting more sick. And I love that you are bringing solutions to the table. You bring hope that it is possible to break away from this and be healthy and to have that happiness. So we don't have to follow what our past taught us.
That's right. You got that right.
Awesome. Christi, you are changing it up out there. I want to really, really, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for being a part of this book, because it is a woman like you sharing her story, to be vulnerable, to open up your past like this, to study it, to create solution and share it with others. I mean, it takes one person to make that change. And so thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for sharing with us today. To our listeners, why don't you leave them with some words of wisdom that they can take away?
I would like to encourage people to take charge of their own health. I think it's crucially important when you are in an emergency, you rush to the hospital, right? And you leave it up to the experts. But when you're not in an emergency and when you have a health problem, please get some second, third, or fourth opinions. Do some research. We live in an amazing time. We can get information for everything. We just have to spend some energy and some time in doing research and talking to people and talking to experts. And because when you go, of course, you go to a doctor and you go to a health professional, but you are the boss of your own body and you work with them. You're not just like blindly doing everything they say. No, you work with them. You talk with them. You express how you feel. So you are the CEO of your own health business.
I love that. It's a great way to look at your body.
Mm-hmm.
Be the CEO of your own health business. All right. Everybody needs to get to know you, Christi, really seriously.
Thank you.
We are surrounded by sugar, and we do need to speak with you and learn more from you to help us break away from this. So I thank you so much again for sharing with us today. And to our listeners, I'd like to thank you for joining us today. And I hope you've taken away some golden nuggets that Christi has shared with you. And I would invite you to join us again next week to hear and learn from more inspirational women sharing their voice. So remember, to all you CEOs of your own health, I want you to remember that your message matters as well. Because to the world, you may be one person, but to one person, you may be the world. Thank you for joining.
Beautiful. Thank you, Gail. Bye-bye.